Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the weekly comic wrap up, episode 94. That's right, you saw that countdown. Six left, five after tonight. And then we hit episode 100. What comes as of then, we shall see, guys. Nothing too crazy, I promise you. But episode 100 will be a complete madhouse. It's going to be a filled episode of giveaways, hangouts, multiple people making their way on. So it's going to be good times. So yeah, I'm excited for that, but not as excited as I am for tonight because, yes, I said it that we have an awesome guest who's going to be joining us this week. If you caught it last week, you know exactly who I'm talking about. But hang tight because before I bring him in, I do have a few things I need to say because next week we've got Hyper Combo Comics who's going to be hopping on. That's right. So Hyper's making his way back. It's been about a minute since we've seen him. So I'm excited to have Hyper back. He's counting down to episode 100 with me. So looking forward to that. And of course, tomorrow night, guys, Comic Legion every Monday goes live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, giving us a chance to pick up those new Comic Book Day books that are going to be dropping within the week. So all books available this Wednesday are going to be hitting the table on Comic Legion's YouTube show. So make sure to tune in on that. Subscribe, show them some love. The show is hosted by none other than Lefteros. So you guys know how Lefteros does it, man. He gives us nothing but great insight when it comes to books. So you get a good time and you get some amazing books. So definitely check that out. Now, let's get back to the guest because, yes, it's funny because I connected with Michael via social media, etc., and all this stuff, and we actually spoke regarding Armored. Now, he's the creator of Armored. Yes, he wrote Armored, which is a fantastic book. I know I've said this a million times, and I'm not saying this because he's a friend. Guys, I just finished telling him backstage. The main reason why I praise it is because it's really enjoyable. But he's also the creator of the Netflix film No Malone. And yeah, I've spoken to him about that because my kids have made me watch it at least a trillion times. But regardless, I love him nonetheless, guys. Michael Schwartz, what's up, man?
Oh man, I'm sorry.
don't say sorry. It's a great film. Great film, man.
You know what? Just be thankful my other movie isn't streaming in Canada because my other one's streaming on Hulu. And when I do US shows, all the Americans know that movie, not No Malone as much. I don't know why. Canadians like No Malone. The Americans like their zombies, I guess.
Really? That's what it is. So what's the American one, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it's Hulu. It's on Hulu over there. It's Zombie Town. It's R.L. Stein's Zombie Town.
Yes, Zombie Town. Oh, I've heard of Zombie Town, man. I haven't watched it though, so I need to check that out.
It's not streaming here. You gotta like pay for it.
Oh no, dude. I love you. I'll support you, but IPTV is the way to go on things like this for us.
True. So true. I make no more money, man. So don't worry. It's done. I've made my money.
I love it. But man, it's funny because talking R.L. Stine, I think everybody here in the chat has grown up knowing R.L. Stine via Goosebumps, right? Like, dude, I remember going to the Scholastic fairs at my elementary school, and like that was the main thing I looked forward to, the Goosebump books, right? And you ended up connecting with R.L. Stine, man. That must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. I met him on the set, but through Zoom, and then at New York Comic Con, I got to meet him. But it's crazy because like I think back to those Scholastic book fairs, and I think that's where we like really started to become collectors. Let's think about it, right? Like I'm sure I was collecting even before that, comics and stuff. But man, going to those Scholastic book fairs were like, it was kind of like a drug, like getting a new Goosebumps book. Yeah.
Exactly. You get a Goosebumps book and it never failed. You always left with a Lamborghini poster or like some random poster.
True.
Yeah, man. But how was it working with R.L. Stine? That must have been
he's so cool. He's so chill. He's got like a dry sense of humor. He's all about like the books exist, go crazy with the movies, and which I appreciate a lot because it is hard writing a movie. Yes, may the Schwartz be with all of us tonight.
Yes, this is so Covrprice. Actually, on the little promo that I put on Instagram, commented that I'm like, I'm so using this every single time. This is amazing. This is amazing. Yeah, but yeah, man, collaborating with R.L. Stine must have been amazing. Like you were just saying, you collected all Goosebumps books via the Scholastic
Yeah.
fairs, etc. Man, it takes me back whenever I see um, R.L. Stein's name pop up. It's automatic. That's what I think of. That's what I think of.
Absolutely.
But you've done some great things yourself, man, and I gotta thank you because you actually sent me. I remember when Armored first came out, you sent me signed copies of the. There was the
Jay
was it,
Lee
yeah, the Jay Lee variant.
and the Chrissy Zulo. Yeah.
Exactly. So two amazing artists, guys. Zulo did a phenomenal job on that cover, man. It was
Yeah, I
absolutely
know.
insane. But
You know what? We got to step back. We got to shout out Chia Pet because honestly, without him, I wouldn't be here. Like that.
fair, fair.
He. I don't even know his real name. I can't even tell you. I just know him as Chia. That's
It's better that way. You don't want to know him, really. I'm gonna be honest with you. No, Chia Pet's a great guy. I actually threw him his flowers in a chat the other day, and that's just the nicest I'm ever gonna get. I can't publicly do that because then it would break all kayfabe and all that stuff.
Put it this way: he bought some books off me, and that went to pay for some pages of Armored. That's how crazy how deep this goes. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, speaking pages of Armored, and shout out to Chia. Yes, I love you, Chia. You know that, and you can snip that and play it as much as you want. But speaking pages of Armored, you actually sent me some amazing stuff, man. Just the other week, because look at this, guys. Can anybody in the chat say what this is paying homage to? That's what I'm curious to know. But yeah, nice little
call it out. Whoever calls it out, whoever can put in the chat what this is paying homage to, I will send them a free copy.
Oh God, Michael,
First one up.
You're on fire. And then there was this one here, dude. This is so cool. So cool.
So it's a flip cover. So that's the same book. There we go. Jeb, there's message me on Instagram. You got a copy coming to you.
So somebody got it already.
Yep.
Somebody got it already. So I'll get to the chat. Let me see. Guys, I'm skipping a few comments. But there it is. Is it this one? Jeb?
There it is.
Yeah. So Jeb, hit up Michael over on Instagram. I have his handle in the description of the video. But yeah, see, Jeff knows, bro. Never break kayfabe. You can't do that. But yeah, man. So Jeb, hit him up. Jeb's a fellow Canadian as well. So and wonderful guest who's been on several times.
I've seen him on.
Yeah, but I love it, man. The Spider-Man Unlimited homage is just so good, dude. And there's many other great covers. And dude, you have the Kickstarter for the trade paperback right now.
Yeah, it's actually a hardcover.
Sorry. Okay.
It'll actually be even nicer. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna save that for later on in the show, guys, because during the hot topics, one thing I like to do weekly is really dive deep into some of the things that are taking place within the hobby. And I see a lot of people on YouTube criticizing artists, criticizing writers, criticizing so much stuff. And I really want to dive into what takes place, and yourself being a writer, and how you've gotten to this point, the struggles and all that stuff. I really want to know what does happen behind the scenes when it comes to that. Whether you're aspiring to be a writer or an artist or whatever it is, this could be insightful. But at the same time, I think this is going to be very informative. And Michael, I think we're in for a good time with this chat, man.
Yeah. Ask me anything. It's AMA, yeah.
Well, before we get to all that fun stuff, though, we do got to talk about the FOC picks of the week. So, Michael, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's go. All right, guys, it's the FOC selections of the week by our brother Lefteros. Now, of course, go follow Lefteros over on Instagram. Show him some love. You already know the guy is always pumping out some amazing content if you're following him. And if you're not, well, it's a great place to get informed. Now, these FOC selections are for the week of June 9th, which is this week, of course. And if you live in the United States and want to get any of these books, go visit comicnation.us. They give you 15% off of the cover price. Get an additional 5% off by using discount code BLACKCROWN. And if you're in Canada like myself and Michael, well, you can go visit comiclegion.ca. Yes, where you can find also Lefteros and Chia Pet. I can, apologize for one of those two. Sorry. But 20% off of the cover price every single week, guys. And if it's your first order, well, you get an additional 5% off by using discount code ENLIST. Again, that's comiclegion.ca, and you also get cashback rewards as well. So some additional bonuses right there. Now, Michael, first book on the list is Godzilla #1. This is the cover A. It's an ongoing series set in IDW's new Godzilla shared universe. Tim Seeley on this one, which is very exciting. But I don't know if you remember Free Comic Book Day, which just passed not too long ago in the month of May. We kind of got a glimpse into what was going to be taking place. So this seems pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I missed out on that Free Comic Book Day. Like the whole day I missed. So I'm going into this blind, completely blind.
Yeah.
Did you read the Free Comic Book Day issue?
I didn't read the Free Comic Book Day issue. I have a ton of copies, to be honest with you. But dude, the Free Comic Book Day madness. There were very few titles that I read. One of them is actually on the list tonight.
Okay.
But yeah, I know people are excited. Godzilla's on a hype right now, man. Godzilla's had, I would say, for the last, obviously it's been decades that everybody loves Godzilla, but the last year plus, you know what I mean, have been very Godzilla at the forefront, man, and across multiple titles. There's some interesting titles as well that are coming out, like Godzilla Heist. I don't know if you read that. There's obviously Godzilla now with everything happening in Marvel, up against Spidey, up against the Avengers, up against Hulk. So it's really fun. Good time for Godzilla fans, I guess.
And Tim Seeley, you can't go wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you're just a cover lover, well, you've got this 1 in 150 incentive as well by Arthur Adams. And this is pretty cool, man. Godzilla's looking a little on the heavy side on this one.
He's got some thick thighs, yeah.
Yeah, the thunder thighs are there 100%, man. Yeah, exactly. Comic Legion actually gave away 1,000.
I gotta get on. Okay, Comic Legion. Starting tomorrow.
It was madness, dude. The live show, like there were books being given out like crazy. People got bundles. It was amazing. So yeah, if you missed out, they'll take care of you. So there you go.
I'm coming to you tomorrow.
Yep.
Look out.
Yep. Baker agrees, saying Godzilla's looking thick. You got Derek with the Chunkzilla. Yo, Chunkzilla is fitting, very fitting. But guys, a big book that came out last week was Imperial #1, and this week we have Imperial #2. Here's the main cover. Now, the solicitation implies that an antagonist may be revealed. Now, if you read issue 1, you could see that there were two, characters pretty much discussing certain things. It gave me a very cosmic, I don't want to say cosmic, like detective style, but it did have somewhat of that vibe, man. It's rather interesting. I'm on board, Hickman. I fully confide in Hickman pretty much all the time. So yeah, I'm on board. Issue 2 is an automatic pickup.
Yeah, it's one I haven't read yet. I think I was telling you I'm about 2 weeks behind, so I have to catch up. But you sold me on it, so I'm like, yeah, I got to do it. And anything Left Arrows puts up, I'm always buying. He's like he's the he's like the person I buy my drugs from. It feels like, even though I'm not spending money, it's like he's the one that's like inspiring me to be a drug addict.
Yeah. It's like drugs are legal in certain states and provinces, but yeah, he's our dealer regardless.
He's our dealer, yeah. But no, it looks cool.
Yeah.
For sure. There's the word. See, I'm clearly not into drugs.
Yeah, Jeb's giving himself away there, but yeah, man. Imperial #2 is great. Is on FOC. Imperial #1 was great. And now, guys, if you like those Scotty Young covers, of course, there's a Scotty Young variant for Imperial issue #2. So definitely pick this up if you're a fan. I like Scotty Young stuff. So yeah, I might go the Scotty Young route on this one. Might.
Wow. I got to stick to the A cover. I'm the guy. Yeah.
I do not blame you. Don't worry about it, man. I love Chichero, so. But all right, guys. Up next, guys, we have Mark Spears Monsters issue #6. This is the cover A, 6th issue in the monstrous hit series. Yes, I did that. Full pun. The Golden Man cover depiction by Mark Spears, and I believe this is the first cover because I've never seen the Golden Man on any of the covers when it comes to Mark Spears books. So, I mean, if anybody can correct me, feel free, but I've not seen him anywhere. So, you might want to go this route. Of course, there's other covers available for Mark Spears Monsters. I almost feel like this is up your alley, Michael.
It totally is. Yeah, I have like the first 3 issues I think I've read. I'm really into it. His art interests me because it really looks like CG to me that's been painted over. and I work in CG. You know that, right? I've been working in
Yep.
visual effects and animation for years, and so there's something about it like I love, but something about it I look at like quite I don't know, like a lot. Like I'm looking at CG all day long, so I want to know his process. It fascinates me. Has he ever revealed that? Do you know?
I think he has. I haven't really, looked at any of his deep dives, or I'm sure, but
Yeah.
I'm positive he's made so many appearances on YouTube channels, etc., that I'm pretty sure he must have at some point spoken about the process and all
Yeah.
of this.
He
So I'm
pumps
sure.
out stuff so fast, and I'm like, can you talk to the artists I work with because they're pretty slow.
Yeah, and Leftero was saying that Mark Spears is a great person. Shout out to him
His
for
name is
taking the
amazing.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so happy it did well too, because that was one of the books I think he said where no publisher wanted to pick it up, right? And then it just blew up. So
yeah, guys, from trading cards to everything else that Mark Spears has done, and now Monster is finally getting the love. So we have issue number 6, the cover A here, with featuring the Golden Man on the cover, and Leftero saying that Mark Spears himself confirmed that that is the first cover appearance. So you might want to pick this one up if you're a Monsters fan. Now, speaking Monsters, there's also this Vampirella cover, which I feel like we've seen before already. So yeah, it's here for issue number 6. You've got this amazing cover of Vampirella on it, and yeah, again, something that we've seen before. He actually had a cover where it was an exclusive. I forget for which exclusive it was or which shop, but yeah,
cool.
Pretty nice cover.
Yeah.
Pretty nice cover. And speaking another Monsters cover, the 1 in 50 incentive has this witch cover by Mark Spears, and this one is very creepy, dude.
That is all me. I love that. This cover is the one I would go for.
Yeah, like I said,
sweet.
totally up your alley, man.
He needs to be on Armored. I need to get him on Armored. Someone needs to. Yeah.
I'm positive if you hit him up, he'll do it. I'm positive.
Yeah.
Yep. But anyways, moving on from Monsters. I spoke Free Comic Book Day stuff. Big Rig number 1. So here we have the cover A. Now everybody's aware about this. Post Malone. This is an all-new series that he created. So pretty interesting to see that somebody of such a big status, especially in the music scene, now hopping into the comic side of things. Post Malone's giving us Big Rig number 1 here. This is the cover A, but there's a lot more stuff related to Big Rig, guys, that I think we need to discuss. You can see here that Letheros writes that it's a celebrity property up at the top, which is big. This is great, especially when it's going to come to mainstream media and stuff like that. I think it's going to get people talking that you have somebody like Post Malone on this, but there's this cover I. This is basically a Peach Momoko cover, and it doesn't count towards any of the incentives. Now, there's several incentives for this, for Big Rig. And one that I really want to discuss with everybody, you might want, oh no, not this one, sorry, but I love this. Daniel Warren Johnson did an amazing cover for the 1 in 10, which, by the way, Comic Legion, if you're watching, man, save me a copy. I kind of want to pick one up because this, dude, I love Daniel Warren Johnson stuff. We were just talking backstage about like do a power bomb and stuff like that.
Yeah. I met him at San Diego.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I got his other book. I'll show you after. We'll talk after about it. Yeah, he drew in my book. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, you did a lot of things in San Diego. I saw you hanging out with Todd McFarlane, man.
That was New York, but yes,
New York, sorry.
I hung out with him at WonderCon too. So yeah, it's been wild.
Look at you networking. Look at you, man. Proud of you. Good for you. That's amazing, dude. Hanging out with like all these amazing creators must be a rush. A rush, both as a fan and a creator.
I'll always be a fan, so it'll always be a rush. Yeah.
That's what I love.
Get around.
Dude, when creators are equally as nerdy as us, man, it's beautiful.
It's hard not to be. I don't know who could ever put this aside,
Yeah, exactly. But
that's
Daniel Warren Johnson's 1 in 10. Beautiful cover, but this is what I want to talk to you guys about. So Big Rig number 1 has a variant bundle box. So it's a special variant bundle box that contains 10 comics and is limited to apparently only 1,000. Now, there's a chance at a diamond 1-of-1 variant by Peach Momoko. So we don't know. These are being allocated because there's only 1,000. And if I'm not mistaken, this is going out to shops on a first come, first serve basis. So I think that's how they're doing the allocations, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, there's many incentives. So you've got a cover B that is guaranteed in every single one of these boxes, and it's done by Maria Wolf. Love Maria Wolf's work, dude. Maria Wolf is just absolutely amazing. But then there's a 3 in 10 bronze variant done by Corin Howell. That's also guaranteed. But then we get a 2 in 25 silver variant by Derek Robertson. You've got a 1 in 500 gold variant by Peach Momoko. 1 in 10,000 is the diamond variant Peach Momoko 1 of 1 diamond edition. So just to give you an idea, yeah, this bundle box, guys, the only way to get cover B is via this box, right? So that Maria Wolf, those that are guaranteed, there's no other way of getting this outside of this box. So the only open orders you really have is this Peach Momoko for the big rig number 1 cover I, and then you've got that cover A. Cover A counts towards the incentives. The Momoko does not.
Wow.
Crazy.
So I kind of trust Post Malone a bit too, right? Because he's a geek just like us. Like he was the guy that bought the Magic card, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, dude, off of a Canadian. Yeah, you remember that, right?
Yeah. I didn't know he was a Canadian though.
Yeah, it was a Canadian. I believe it was somebody I think it was in Toronto or something like that in Ontario. But I know that transaction went down here in Canada, and yeah, it was big coin, dude. It was big coin for that.
It was a mill, wasn't it a mill? Yeah.
Yeah, the Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings. And what's funny is that card actually came back at 9.6, if I'm not mistaken. not a 9.8.
Yeah. He's probably touching it so much, right?
Probably. Who knows, man? But yeah, man. So I'm excited. I mean, the Post Malone story itself seems very intriguing. The big rig number 1, it was okay within the free comic book day book, but I look forward to seeing more about this. Like I'm on board. I would love to shoot for this 1 in 1,000 when it comes to this bundle box. I guess we'll call it a 1 in 1,000 because there's only 1,000 that's going to be out there. So yeah, let's see how this gets allocated. Let's see what this is going to go for on the aftermarket. I think it's going to explode, dude. I think it's going to be absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts.
It'll be like the next Battle Beast, do you think? Is that what this is?
I think Battle Beast had a ton of packs, right?
Yeah.
And somebody just recently opened the pack that had the actual first print of Invincible number 1. So that's now gone. Battle Beast had hundreds of thousands of copies out there. This is only going to have 1,000. So I think people selling on the aftermarket, this is going to command some serious coin as opposed to Battle Beast. But we'll see. I think there will be some craze. I think a lot of shops are probably even sleeping on this, probably even not paying attention. So
for sure.
Yeah, let's see how it does. Amazing. Looking forward to that one. Now, something I think you can definitely talk about here is Sisterhood Hyde Street story number 1, because guys, when it comes to Ghost Machine, I say this every week, we should be paying attention. Some great stuff coming out here. And here we have a one-shot featuring Sisterhood, who was introduced in the Hyde Street series, and I believe that was back in issue number 5, which is still available for dirt cheap, guys. Cover price at best. I picked up Ghost Machine 1 for cover price just a few weeks ago.
People are sleeping on their books. It's my go-to books every week. Whatever Ghost Machine's putting out, I'm grabbing. Redcoat's my favorite. I'm even such a fan that I do the Ghost Machine's fans podcast. Did you know that?
Yep.
I'm doing that whenever they have Redcoat episodes. They ask me to come on. I love Ghost Machine, so I'm all in every time it shows up on FOC.
Yep, I've seen your shares.
Yeah.
I've seen your shares. I pay attention. But yeah, Ghost Machine podcast, dude. I see even when Lefteros is sharing his slides, they're very active. The Ghost Machine fans pages and everything, they're very active, and it's nice to see that it has such a strong following, and it's well deserved because it's a great universe as a whole.
It is, yeah. It's really cool what they're building. So yeah.
Yep. But anyways, if you guys are fans like Michael Schwartz, myself, and a few others here in the chat, this is a good pickup. Of course, Sisterhood, a Hyde Street story number 1. Up next, though, we've got Star Wars, The Legacy of Vader, issue 6. We're getting the first appearance of Grandia, a Jedi who survived Order 66. Now, myself totally put Star Wars stuff on the back burner because I can't keep up anymore. But still, I think if you're a Star Wars fan, I hear Star Wars fans talking about the legacy of Vader, including Lefteros himself, loving what's coming out of Star Wars Legacy of Vader. And yeah, I think this is totally worthy of a pickup if you definitely want to pick, if you're a fan of Star Wars.
I dropped off like you for a while. It was just too much. You can't keep up with it all. But this Legacy of Vader, I'm all in on. And this book in particular, this could be like an Afra, right? Who knows who this will be? This could be an Afra character.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Afra to be an Afra character.
Hey, wasn't there a peak there for a while?
There was. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just making a fun joke, simply because we do want to see Afra, in live action, and I think it's only a matter of time. I know.
Yeah.
Steve is in this chat. Steve Francis is a huge Star Wars fan. He actually has the first appearance of Dr. Afra, who he's been meaning to give to me to get slabbed. But yeah, it's I'd love to see Afra.
I got 3 copies of Afra. I got like all the different printings of it as well, all the different colors. So
yeah, Deeds is saying nobody should pick this up because he wants to gatekeep it. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, hey, Trek Wars is back. TJ, I put a book on the list for you tonight, so we'll get to that in the market report. But yes, Star Wars fans, you definitely might want to pick this up. I think Derek True did a great cover as well. So yeah, I agree with Chia Pet saying great cover, amazing, absolutely amazing. But up next, Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion issue number 2. Miles Morales versus Ultimate Black Panther. I finally got to read issue 1 just the other night, and I remember Wednesday, dude, I was in Ottawa. For work, and on my lunch, I went to pick up some books. I picked up Imperial. I picked up, obviously, the book everybody was talking about regarding Black Panther, The World to Come. I read both of them. They were amazing, and then I was looking forward to reading this one. And, dude, it delivered. I think Marvel dropped 3 bangers last week, and props to them because not 1, not 2, 3 heavy hitters. I think this one was least talked about, but we need to also acknowledge that in the last issue, Richard Parker pretty much got the Venom name, provided the black suit that he's now embraced, right? So yeah, man, it's good times, man. Seeing Miles Morales, who is somebody who's tied to our main universe, now, coming across all these characters in this new Ultimate universe is very interesting, man. I'm curious to see what's going to come out of this.
I feel like that's what we've been waiting for with these Ultimate books. Like, I've been like, when is it coming to a head, and now here it is. So
yep, exactly. So we know that there's going to be more things coming, so I look forward to all of that. But definitely a worthy of a pickup for this week. Cover selection, Absolute Superman issue number 9. This is the cover C. I think Gerald Parrell did an amazing job with this. Again, if you're a cover lover, this is a good grab. But at the same time, I do encourage everybody to be reading Absolute Superman, man. It's really, really enjoyable. I talk about this every week. I think the Absolute Universe is great. Absolutely great.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we'll dive into some of the Absolute Universe stuff in the hot topics because I want to talk about something Snyder just recently said. But yeah, man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it all too. But yeah, this cover's sweet. I agree that Gerald Parrell. Yeah, it's a nice one. He does a few, right? He's doing Wonder Woman and Batman as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But hey, Hyper's in the chat. What's going on, Hyper, man? Appreciate you being here. He's going to be on next week, by the way. I plugged you at the beginning. Feel free to go check the picture I shared. But yes, speaking Absolute Universe, we're going to a 5th printing now for issue number 2. And we had multiple first appearances within this one. I know, dude, the Alfred take at the beginning of this series was always something that was a little shocking to me. It was like, wow, this is a whole new take on Alfred. I think people went into this looking at Batman like, oh my God, he's huge, he's buff, he's everything. But Alfred, dude, that was left field, man.
Yeah, and it's almost his book, right? It's his perspective the whole time, and he's trying to figure out who Batman is. To me, Absolute Batman's my favorite of the 3, personally. Or I guess it's more than 3 now.
Same. Loving it, man. It's at the top for me, and maybe slightly biased because Batman's my guy out of DC. Now, Daredevil Cold Day in Hell has been great as well. Here we have issue 2 now going to a later print as well. It's going to a 2nd printing, and you have this Elektra cover depiction by Steve McNiven. it's kind of funny because when I was looking at this cover before even reading who did the cover, I thought it was Miller. I
Yeah,
don't know why. It had
he,
pure Miller vibes.
he's totally pulling a Miller with this series. Like it just feels like how can I go as close to Miller without losing my own style? That's the way I felt as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Very, very cool. Like this cover. But speaking later prints, guys, Pop Kill #1 is now going to a later printing, and it's pretty interesting because we've gotten to the tail end completely of Pop Kill, and they've decided to go back for issue #1's second printing now that we've kind of hit the end. I find that very interesting. Normally, you have a hit on your hands. It's like, oh, we're going with a second print right away, but this one took a little bit of time. So I don't know if they're coming to revisit the well and see what they can get out of it. But regardless of the fact, if you missed out, great read. This is such a fun read.
I messed out. So this is for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it sold out? Is it sold out? Actually sold out everywhere?
I mean, I've seen Pop Kill #1 and later issues as well on certain shelves. There's a shelf next to my a shelf, a shop next to my house that had copies the last time I visited. So
my shop had a stack. I don't understand the second printing, third printing, especially now that I've done a book. Like I'm kind of like this is weird. We can get into that later too.
Sure, man. Yeah. Let's talk about everything. I really just want to have a fun convo with you. But continuing with the later prints and a title that has been doing so many later prints is Transformers, because issue 18 is now giving us a second printing where you have Megatron being at the forefront of this cover. We've seen this many times where you have the Autobots logo, the Decepticons logo behind each character and everything. Really nice. I think if you're going for the full set of this, yeah, this is something you might want to add to your collection.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah, exactly. Transformers is also a great read.
It's Michael, so good. I'm loving it. Yeah. I'm all in on 80s books. So
no kidding. No kidding, man. What a time to be alive. Like G.I. Joe's kicking ass. You've got Transformers kicking ass. Like everything.
It reminds me of like the early 2000s era when like Dreamwave was it that had Transformers, and then you had He-Man coming out from I think Image for a while. Yeah, it's great time.
Yeah, good times, man. But I like this one. Now, up next, we're going to look at some incentives when talking second printings, because Amazing Spider-Man issue #4 gives us this 1 in 25 incentive by Mark Chiarello. This is awesome. I love this. It gives me some creepy vibes, but it kind of reminds me of the Hobgoblin series covers that were coming out back. I want to say, was it like 2015-ish or
those
something?
Were good. Those were so good, those covers.
Yeah, those were great covers, man. So I like this. This is really cool. The reflection there. Peter's just there, and in the reflection, you could see the Hobgoblin. Really cool. I really like this. So very well done. 1 in 25 incentive. Up next, we were just talking about Miller on the Cold Day in Hell for Daredevil issue #2, but the 1 in 25 incentive is actually done by Frank Miller. And I gotta say, man, this is one of Miller's better covers. I think this one looks really good.
Is this new or is this like repurposed art?
I think it's new.
If it is, this is his best yet. This is incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got that Sin City vibe to it. Yeah.
Totally, especially when you get this black and white feel. But yeah, it's really nice. I think this is one of Miller's better covers in recent times. The 1 in 10 incentives, though, of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, we're getting issue 318 now with a 1 in 10, and you have the Storm Shadow by Portela. And I gotta say, man, these are great to look at. I have had some of these in front of me. Last week's book exploded on the aftermarket. Like it went well above ratio price. It's been cracking some of the top 10s, whether it be, Covrprice, CBSI, whatever. It's been doing its thing. So I think this might follow suit, man.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. I haven't seen these. I'm out of it clearly for the incentives.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. This is what we do. We just talk comics, man. But anyways, up next, we're going to talk cover selections, guys. Marvel Swimsuit Special, Friends, Foes, and Rivals #1. I know what you guys are thinking. Why? Why do we need these? Why do we need these in our lives? Well, multiple reasons. One, I won't touch on, but Mark Brooks did an amazing job on this wraparound variant. I like it, but what's pretty cool about this is if you're still playing Marvel Rivals, guys, it comes with a unlimited thing skin. So
I I
basically,
I read that the wrong way when Lefteros wrote that. I was like, what? What
you
does
want?
he mean? Unlimited thing skin.
I,
I
I
was
thought
thinking.
I thought you were gonna say that you thought it comes with unlimited skin.
Well, I was thinking we're gonna see a little more skin than normal on the thing, in this book, and I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need that code.
Yeah, but I love Mark Brooks, especially when he
So
draws,
good. Yeah.
these women looking the way they do. He does a great job. This is a nice wraparound. So, yeah, I'm all for this. But again, if you're a fan of Marvel Rivals, you might enjoy picking this up for the sake of you get the unlimited thing skin. Michael, want to put that out there? Yeah, shake my head. Netflix writers, like, what's wrong with these
Sorry.
guys?
I got
What's
my
wrong with these
hey,
guys?
I'm writing kids movies all day. What do you expect? I need to.
Yeah, man. No, but anyways, great cover. Now up next, there's also this 1 in 100 incentive by Villa Lobos. Villa Lobos has been
Oh,
on fire, literally, with amazing covers as of late. Loving all of his work. I really am loving all of his work. I would say he's almost hitting home run after home run, and there's many other covers available as well for this Marvel swimsuit special friends, foes, and rivals issue number 1. But man, this is stunning cover again, very very gorgeous.
that's gorgeous. Yeah.
Yep, I like this. Now I would totally opt out for a trade because I'm cheap, but still good. Now speaking sexy though, speaking sexy, Pin Apocalypse issue number 4. We've got this cover A by Andrew Tarusov. Very nice cover. Now, before I start talking the cover A, I do want to shed some light on the 1 in 25 incentive because Shubina's work has been getting a lot of love on the aftermarket. This one probably being the lesser of my favorites that's come out of all of them. But Shubina's work, again, another artist who I've just fully fallen in love with. And dude, it's just awesome. Awesome
So
work.
good. That's so good. All these artists, I'm like, can I hire all of them for my book? That's all I keep thinking.
Yeah. Well, you know what, man? I said it last week when we were talking exclusives and stuff like that. I really only got to learn about Shabina via exclusives. And
Oh,
shout out to Bird City Comics because that's where I learned about Shabina. And then I started seeing all these 1 in 25 incentives coming out. And I'm like, man, like this work is just really good. Shabina does amazing stuff. And I'm a fan, dude. I'm a fan. Love it. But, anyways.
great.
So you got this. You've got the cover A, as I was saying. Very nice cover as well. I don't see anybody talking about the read when it comes to Pin Apocalypse. It seems like the covers is pretty much everything.
That A cover is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very well done. Very well done. But Planet Death number 1. Now we're talking incentives. We're gonna see a 1 in 250 incentive. That is a foil variant cover by Chris Bacalo. Really neat. But I'm not into the foil gimmicks. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it hits for me, sometimes it doesn't. If you're a fan of the foils, you
I
might
am
want.
right here. Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
I love them. I love them. I can't, especially when it's if they're reprinting X-Men 1, I got to go for the foil. I don't know why. It just seems ridiculous. A foil on like a Silver Age book.
Yeah, I'm more a fan when it works for the cover. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when people reprint books, like especially like retailers that are like doing exclusives, like, oh, we're gonna take a cover that already exists and we're just gonna throw a foil on it and call it an exclusive. Like I find that lazy and I find that like cheap. Those types of foils piss me off. When a foil works, and it's like a spot foil or something,
Ooh.
that I'm
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
That I'm for, man. Spidey Hunter, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you being here. Absolutely love it. Yeah, man. There you go. I appreciate you.
Right.
But yeah, so there's that. Up next, we have Predator, Black, White, and Blood issue number 1. This is the 1 in 100 incentive. Simone Di Maio, pretty neat cover. Lots of talk lately regarding some of the Predator stuff, man.
Yeah. I have not been following any of the Marvel Predator. Should I be? It's kind of, I don't know. I just haven't been into it.
It was honestly so far, even the Spider-Man stuff has been really good. But recently we just got Predator Killer of Killers. And I was
Oh, the movie. We're talking the movie now on
yeah,
Disney. Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
a lot of people were talking about this being amazing, and I haven't had an opportunity to check it out yet, man. And like, I mean, everybody's giving it high praises.
Yeah, yeah. I got to check it out this week for sure. This cover is nice though. Simone always it's like cinematic the way like you can feel the movement, right? It's 3D almost.
Yeah, very nice cover. I like this one, but one big book I think we all need to talk about. Schwartz, you ready for this one?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
The White Panther.
But
I'm going there.
so there's rumors that like Gosling is going to be in the movie, right?
No, okay, look, I don't know. I think people are having a field day. And
do you think that's what's happening to drive up like the price of this book or something?
No, I don't think that's what's driving it. What's very interesting, guys, is whether you like this or not. I know this created a lot of buzz, a lot of controversy, and if you want, we can carry this conversation into the hot topics portion. But just to summarize, I saw a lot of people talking smack about this book, talking shit, and they're like, yeah, this is like stupid. Marvel's just doing cash grabs and this and that. Dude, this is making absolute crazy headlines across mainstream medias, man. And I'm not talking like, just Bleeding Cool or whatever. I'm not saying that in a poor way towards Bleeding Cool, but what I'm getting at is we're talking the big times. The big times are all talking about this. This is creating a buzz. And like I said, whether you like this or not, it worked. It worked.
Basically, non-geek media is covering this.
Exactly.
It's broken through. But that's what you need. That's what the industry needs is for stuff like this, Superman dying and things. We need it to break through to get more sales. I just don't know how else we can do it or bring people back into the collecting fold.
Yeah, exactly. And I like what Gabe is saying, though, that it's too bad that this controversy took the spotlight away from Imperial, which was a better read this week. Imperial was amazing. Like I said, Marvel dropped not one, not two, but 3 bangers last week. But this is the one that got everybody talking. Now, the Panosian cover on the first printing did have pretty much T'Challa there, but now we're going to be seeing this cover redone as the second printing with, now guys, forgive me, I know it's not Katema. There was an actual panel on the book that they told you the pronunciation, like they specifically gave you the pronunciation, which was hilarious. But yeah, I know this is controversial. I know a lot of people took this, whether they loved it or hated it. I'm okay with it, man. I think, to me, that shock factor was kind of like, well, what the hell? You know what I mean? And it's not like we haven't seen these things done before, man. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen multiple characters, whether it be even in live action where you're getting race changes and everything else. To me, it doesn't fall into that category. It more falls into, what the fuck? T'Challa has a white kid? Like, what happened here? You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. We should hear the whole story. Like, how many issues is this? Is it a 4-issue miniseries?
I'm not too sure how many issues it's going to be going exactly. But I'm just happy, first of all, to be seeing Marvel Knights back. Because Marvel Knight titles were always amazing. You know what I mean?
If it's a good issue, or let's say it is controversial, whatever. But like, let's hear out what the story is before we make judgment. You know what I mean? There shouldn't be any controversy. I guess it's going to be controversial regardless. Like, what will he be called? He can't be called Black Panther anymore, will he be? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But I never cared for that when we got Miles Morales. We have a Black Spider-Man. Cool. Like, this
I
is
hope
cool.
it's temporary. It's got to be temporary. They can't go on. That would be stupid.
Yeah, but again, this is happening in a future timeline. Now, I'm not too sure if this falls into the main timeline or is this something else, but we do know that this is in the future. And my curiosity really kicked in with the who did T'Challa do? You know what I mean? What and who? Because
we got to trust Priest, I say.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. What Chia says. Yeah, go back to that comment. What do you...
This one here, yeah. Priest is a legendary Black Panther writer. His first Black Panther Marvel Knights run brought back Black Panther from obscurity. He was regulated to guest star before Priest. People need to let it play out. And that's the thing, man, is I think, they're cooking. They're doing something here with this. Definitely created buzz. And, whether you're for it or not for it, let it play out. Let it play out. Let's see how this ends up, playing out. It's as simple as that. I'm all for it. I think they did a great job with this. So, issue First issue was good. I do agree with Gabe. Imperial was amazing, and Marvel's hit not one, not two, three hitters last week, and yeah, they're giving us some good content right now. Good time to be a reader. Good time to be a reader. Which, yeah, I won't say too much. But speaking of this book, 1 in 25 incentive. Also, Marvel doing Marvel things. I say this almost every week. You have the awesome wraparound black and white cover by Quesada. Yes, we saw this as a first printing. Yes, we did get that one per store. That definitely popped. This is kind of like a mix of the two. And I like this. I think it works. I hate that the top half of it looks rather blank. Could be great if you want to get a sketch done or something. But yeah, I'm going the I'm going the Panosian, dude.
Yeah, same. That's a weird cover. It's like half sketch.
Yeah, yeah. It is
just enough room to put the title on,
yeah.
logo.
White Panther.
Yeah.
Just to piss off people. But yeah, man, it's really cool.
The
but
pencils
also,
are really nice. It's Quesada.
yeah, dude, I think Quesada does amazing
Yeah.
work. I love it. It's nice to even see him doing some interiors. Fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyways, this is the book I want to talk about. Michael, if there is a book I highly encourage you to pick up, chat, same goes to all of you. I'm going to talk Uncanny X-Men issue 17. Here's the main cover. First appearance of Mutina. Now, the cover. Let's talk about this. I know some people are already trashing this on, different channels, on social media, on Instagram, etc. But do your homework, guys. Do your homework, because Mutina is really, really cool. First, you're seeing this cover here, and it's very horror movie poster like, right? That's very intentional, because apparently this is the type of character she is. She is a Hollywood horror type character, mutant, and the writers gave her the name Mutina. So we're gonna be seeing this character introduced here. I think they're gonna have a great time with this character. I like to see this approach. So I'm on board, and I think the cover is amazing. You've got an amazing cover for the first cover appearance in silhouette form, of course. But this is great, dude. This is a great character. I'm excited about this. I spoke about this months ago when news broke that Gail Simone was talking about this, and Gail Simone was saying, like, we're all in on this character. Like, they were really hyped about this.
It looks cool. I'm a horror guy. Of course, I'm going to go for this. But do we know what her mutant power is?
So I'm not entirely sure, because I've not read the issue. I do know somebody in this chat named Lefteros actually did get to read an advanced copy and told me pretty much that concept regarding the character being like made via Hollywood, etc., and being that slasher horror type. But the actual, what makes this character a mutant, I'm not entirely sure yet. So I'm excited about this. But Chiapet, yes, bringing up the fact that Gail Simone is saying this is her best issue ever. So this is very, they're hyping it. They're hyping it. Marvel's hyping it. Kind of reminds me of the introduction of Spider-Boy, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Boy was being hyped up big time. And yeah, I feel like that's the type of hype we're getting for this character. And I think the character looks great. The design looks great. The idea of it seems pretty fun. I know I saw Comic Ozzy in the chat saying he likes the idea, but the name is questionable in his opinion. There's a reason behind the name, and it's going to be mentioned within this issue, the Mutina thing. It'll play out. It'll play out, and it'll make sense to you. Now, Lefteros is saying, to be clear, he read the book. Mutina is an Earth 616 movie star in the story. Her movie promotes anti-mutant narratives.
Oh.
So that's the whole slasher side of things, right? So pretty interesting, man. Right? Doesn't it sound like
she's not even a mutant? So she's not a mutant. She's a villain.
So yeah, it seems like
cool.
she's after them. Seems like she's after them.
All right, I know what my first order is from Comic Legion.
Yeah,
there we go, guys.
But if you guys want to cover where we don't see just the silhouettes and you want to see a little bit more, well, here we have the 1 in 50 incentive cover. This is the Mutina cover by Ijukuru. I don't even know how to say that.
Who called it out that she's very something's killing the children? There was someone in the chat that called that out, and they're totally right. I'm getting those vibes.
Yes, I do. I do see that, man. Dude, I had. I'm not even gonna try to say this again. Ejikure, something like that. Had you not put that there, Lefteros, I would have thought this was a Derek Chu cover. So yeah.
Okay, Chia said it. Yeah. It really is. Something's killing the children vibes with this one.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's cool. This is what people love. I feel like this is like an it character. There's no way this isn't going to succeed.
No, for sure. I think out of all the books on FOC, there's a few good ones like Big Rig and Number One by Post Malone and some others. But I do think Uncanny X-Men 17, people are going to be talking. People will be talking once it comes out. Don't be surprised, man, if people completely whiff on this and it ends up popping on the aftermarket after the fact. So, yeah, kind of the same scenario of what happened with the first appearance of T'Challa's son, which we just saw right here in the world to come, Marvel Knights. People completely slept on it. They missed it. They're bashing it. Those who picked up a copy seem to enjoy it. So yeah, is what it is, man. Now, those were the FOC selections of the week. Of course, support Lefteros. If you live in the United States, want to order any of these books, go visit comicnation.us. They give you 15% off of the cover price, but get an additional 5% each week by using discount code Black Crown. And if you're in Canada, go visit comiclegion.ca. They give you 20% off every single week, but get an additional 5% off of your first ever order by using discount code ENLIST. You can go check out all of Lefteros picks over on Covrprice's website at covrprice.com. Read the entire article. Check out all the amazing features. If you like the website, man, even subscribe. They got free trials, tons of other stuff you could check out. You could even check out myself and the rest of the crew, like Gabe, who's here in the chat, every Tuesday going live for the top 10s and then bringing you the weekly shakers every Thursday night. And if this is your first time here on my channel, hey, hit the subscribe button, man. We're here to talk comics all together, man. Every single week, Sundays, 9 p.m., baby. That's what's up. Michael, we made it through the FOC. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. But it is that time now where we get into the aftermarket with the market report. So, again, I got to ask, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. All right, guys, FOC. So, not FOC. What am I talking about? It's the market report. My God, you see, I told you the day drinking killed me today. Completely killed me, guys. I had so many beers in my pool. There were my kids, my friends' kids, my friends. It was rough.
I gotta make it up to Montreal, man. I gotta
anytime, dude. Anytime. Yeah. Pool's open now. It's ready. You come on down, guys. Anybody who wants to come down, you're more than welcome.
We should do a live show from your pool.
That would be horrific.
That's episode 100.
I would lose at least 700 subscribers. I'm positive. Positive. But anyways, let's get into the market reports. Yeah, even the allergies. I'm sun-kissed, dude. Pollen. It's that season. It's that season. Market report, guys. I check out most lists that exist out there. Example: House of Stein, CBSI, Key Collector, Covrprice. Go collect, checking sales over on eBay. If you have Instagram, I'm checking what you're posting and all of the other fun stuff. But most importantly, every single week, Michael Baker, that's right, our friend here in the chat, big supporter of the show, hits me up every day with sales that take place on the aftermarket. And we highlight them as Baker Shakers. That's what's up, baby. Baker Shakers. So let's kick it off with the first book of the week. The first one is Street Sharks #1. You were talking about 80s, 90s, all that fun jazz. Well, guess what? We have Street Sharks #1. We're going back to 1996 with this one. It's the direct edition that was part of Archie Publications. CGC 98 selling at $320 was a Covrprice daily shaker this week. Highest sale recorded to date. And this is not their first appearance. This isn't anything, dude. This is just Street Sharks #1. An amazing cover. Dude, this is nostalgia.
I love this. So I have the newsstand version of this, I'm pretty sure.
No way.
Yeah, wait, was there a different series? I have a newsstand issue 1 of Street Sharks. I don't know if it's this series or if there's another series, but I love Street Sharks. I love that it's coming back. It's great.
Yeah, dude, you got everybody wanting to do the poolside.
I know. We got to do it now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, everybody's more than welcome, guys. Steve, I don't need to invite you. You know where I live, bro. Just come over. But yeah,
Chia,
man.
I will be walking around. I don't know if I'm invited yet, to be honest. Yeah.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Michael Baker bringing up a great point. I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the show, but just past 800 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much, man. We're
Wow.
growing together, and let's
Congrats.
just keep talking comics. So, with that said, back to Street Sharks, dude. Like I said, for me, this is pure nostalgia. I love talking Street Sharks. I remember there's. I guess within my childhood, dude, there was like so many other things. Like we could talk Thundercats, we could talk like many other things. I don't know if you remember even playing video games like dude Battletoads. There's just so many random animals brought to life and badass during this era, right?
I know it's such a wild era of just like chaos. It was just like, what ideas does everyone have? Let's make a comic, a movie, or a toy out of it.
Yeah, exactly, man. It was just amazing times, and I loved Street Sharks. So yeah, this one takes me back. Cliff, thank you so much for the $2.22 to buy myself a coffee. Fun fact, guys. Fun fact: I'm Italian, and I'm considered a disgrace to most because I've never had a coffee in my life
What?
ever. Yeah,
With
exactly.
kids? How are you living?
I don't know, dude. I just run on adrenaline.
Oh my
That's
god!
really what it is.
Once I had my second kid, that's when I started drinking
Oh yeah.
coffee.
Oh no, man, dude! I started drinking with my first, and I'm
Yeah.
not talking coffee. But yeah, man. So Cliff, I appreciate it, but I'll get myself a nice Red Bull. So thank you for that one. Although I know it's not good for you guys. Trust me. Don't think I'm pro Red Bull and start coming at me. But yeah, okay. Gabe's saying he thinks he has a newsstand of this, man. I love it, man. Like I said, it's a complete. This takes me back so much, so much. And the chat's hating on me for never having a coffee. Oh man, I
Not
love it.
even. You gotta go to get yourself a little espresso or something.
No, dude, I've worked bars, man. I've worked restaurants, clubs, you name it, dude. I can't. I don't know. It just even the smell just bothers me. But anyways, Street Sharks #1, back from 1996, the Archie publication, CGC 98, $320, and it is a cover price daily shaker this week. Monstrous sale, good for them.
That's
Now,
because of the new series, though, right? That's why. The sale?
I don't think so. I just think people enjoy
What?
it. Yeah,
But
I
there was
just
the announcement. I thought that's why it would. Okay,
I
whatever.
don't know. But anyways, Itchy and Scratchy Comics #1. This takes us back to 1993. Another thing when it comes to cartoons, childhood, and everything, you got to think The Simpsons. Now, this is a barcode variant, guys, and a raw copy, sold for $710. It was a cover price daily shaker, highest sale to date. And it is all thanks to that barcode that you could see at the bottom left of that cover, because those are so difficult to come across.
Is it like the DC Universe ones that you find on DC Comics?
I guess you could say that. But no, man, it really is. These barcode variants are hard to come across. The DC ones are very hard as well. I know exactly what you're talking about. We'll take that Nightwing #1. That's made the list several times in the past, but these barcodes, man, you could find them on like Simpsons comics, the Simpsons #1. And again, they're very, very hard to come across. So whenever these sales do take place, they tend to be very, very up there in price. Very up there in price. And as you can see, this is a raw copy. And yeah, what did Gabe say? When I was a kid, I named my ball Itchy.
This episode's off the rails. I
It's
apologize.
okay, man. That's what we're here for.
I took it there.
We could take this wherever the fuck we want. Have fun tonight. But yeah, man, Itchy and Scratchy Comics #1, dude. You watch The Simpsons? I know.
Of course, yeah.
Who
I don't have this book though, but now this is all I'm going to be looking for.
For me, it was the jingle, dude. The Itchy and Scratchy show. Like, dude, it was like hilarious. Absolutely. I don't know what it was, dude. Like everything about The Simpsons to this day is just. It was genius, and it still continues to be amazing. I know people think it's kind of fallen off, but I think it's great times, and I love seeing this. The barcode variants, guys, keep an eye out. If ever you come across some of these books, example, Itchy and Scratchy Comics #1, you see a barcode, don't even hesitate, man. Pick it up because a raw copy sold for $710 US, man. Huge, absolutely huge. Derek is saying it's harder than the DC universe. So yeah, thank you, Derek. Appreciate that. Now, up next, Saga issue 41. This is back to 2016, printed by Image Comics. This cover was actually recalled due to a coloring error that took place on this. Now, a CGC 98 sold for $127 US. First Baker Shaker on the list tonight. And if you're wondering what the color error is, chat, Michael, it's very simple. The black was too black. That's right. It was very, very dark. And I had seen a comparison like side by side. And yeah, it is very, very dark.
But is this what we're seeing? Is this the error?
Yep, exactly. Like you see, it's like super dark. Like the black going all around. You could barely see that person in the background.
Interesting.
Right? Huh. So that's pretty much what gives this a coloring error on it, and apparently it was like recalled, and they put out some other ones. So yeah, exactly. Nothing crazy, just a little thing that turns into something. And there's other comics who have had this same fate, right? Printing errors, color errors, whatever, recalled comics, and a lot of recalled books tend to do very well on the aftermarket, but this one's still relatively low. So I have this very dark cover. You can hardly see any green. There you go.
There we go.
Yep. But anyways, Saga 41, CGC 98, $127 for the recalled coloring error variant, I guess we'll call it. But speaking variants, dude, here's a book. I love this cover, man. Thanos Legacy, issue number 1. This is from 2018, and it's the Clayton Crane Virgin Edition. CGC 98 just sold for $193. I look, people love him or hate him, Clayton Crane. I know how, people feel indifferent. I've seen people talk about even some issues they've had at lineups, at cons when it comes to Clayton Crane and other things. But I think that this cover, no matter what you feel about this guy, is just stunning, dude. Stunning.
That's all news to me, so I didn't know that. You'll have to tell me behind the scenes what's happening with Clayton, but this cover's amazing. I've never even seen this cover before. So
really,
yeah, this is new to me. I don't know how I've missed this.
Oh, dude, I love this, man. This is on my must grabs because I try to pick up. So I do this weird thing where I pick up as many Thanos covers as I can. Like yeah. I love Thanos way before the MCU. I fell in love with Thanos back within the Silver Surfer run. And then obviously the Infinity Gauntlet stuff. And I know you are a huge Silver Surfer fan.
Yeah, totally. I'm all in on Surfer. I just haven't, I kind of missed out on some Thanos stuff back in the 2000s, like 2010 to 2020.
Yeah.
This era, basically. But I've since gone back and tried to grab it whenever I see it. But this one I don't have. So I got to look for it. This is amazing.
Yeah, dude, there was this Thanos Rising. There's so much good Thanos stuff, and some people feel indifferent. I always enjoy it, maybe slightly biased because, like I said, I just really enjoyed Thanos as a character. But Thanos Legacy was a good time, nothing too crazy. But this Clayton Crane variant was just stunning, and a CGC 98 just recently sold for $193. I think it's great, and like I said, when it comes to Clayton Crane, I know some people felt a certain way with the whole wife situation of that shop owner, and I completely forgot who it was, nor do I care. But I don't look at their personal lives. I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. So just giving comics, and we're good, bro. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say. But
I kind of agree. Yeah, I agree. I don't care.
Pretty cool. Now, here's a fun one. I don't know if Travis is still in the chat or Daniel Torres made his way yet. But Star Trek, The Next Generation series finale. That's right. We're going back to 1994 with this. And this was actually printed by DC. There's one blue label in a CGC 98 when it comes to this. And there's 7 signed 98s on the census. That's right. One blue label, but 7 signed copies. And a CGC 98 blue label. That only copy just sold for $190. Baker Shaker this week. And dude, this is fun. This is funny because it takes me back to when I was a kid. I remember my dad used to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be sitting there on the floor just watching Star Trek: The Next Generation with my dad too.
Yeah, exactly. And man, like I look at this and that's what I think of. And whenever I've tried to watch something Star Trek related, and it's no hate, but it was never my jam, right? It wasn't my jam. But Star Trek: The Next Generation, I always enjoyed. I don't know why. Like I would sit there. I think it's maybe the bond that I had, watching this.
I think that's what it is for me too. I watched every episode, and I remember when the series finale came on. It was a huge deal in our house, at least my house. It was huge. My dad kept that tape for years. He recorded it, and it was like we're gonna watch this over and over. Yeah. I wonder how the signed ones. Is it signed by every one of those actors? That's what I want to know.
I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. I didn't see any of the signed copies, but man, when I think of Star Trek, I always think of Patrick Stewart because of this. It's really because of this.
Same.
Yeah. But anyways, man, yeah, I love this. So we're gonna have a fight in the chat because people are saying Star Wars over Star Trek, and this is where it begins. This is where it begins. Yeah.
Okay, next topic.
But all right, up next, guys, check this. The Punisher #1. I love this because we're going back to 2016 on this, and it's the 1-in-25 ratio by Alex Maleev. Dude, Alex Maleev covers are just I get another artist that I absolutely love. No matter what cover I see done by Maleev, I tend to fall in love with, man. I think this is an amazing cover of the Punisher, and one I'd love to have in my collection. CGC 98 just sold for only $140 and I think that's really good for this 1-in-25 ratio.
You know what? You got to get his big art of book, the Marvel art of Alex Maleev, because it has it all in it, man. Have you seen that book yet? Those Covrprice books?
No, I know. You are very familiar with some of the Covrprice stuff, and I didn't know they even did that for him.
Yeah, they did. He has an art book. It's amazing. It's huge too. They're giant books. You got to see them.
Oh, dude, I'm totally gonna pull that up after the show and see.
Yeah.
I hope they're still available over.
Oh yeah, they're still available. Oh yeah.
Good to know. But yeah,
your shop can order it in too.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna talk to Comic Legion because I love Maleev's work, and here we have the Punisher #1, the 1-in-25 ratio that he did, and it just recently sold in a CGC 98 for $140. Now, up next, this is good times. You got Batman, Son of the Demon, and we're going to 1987 at this point in time. Batman joins forces with Ra's al Ghul. Yeah, who'd have thought? But CGC 98 selling at $350. This is a very, very interesting book. I love the cover, dude. I love the cover of this one.
That's beautiful. A painted cover. Is this like a graphic novel, like one of those mini graphic novels?
Yeah, it's slightly bigger.
Yeah.
Slightly bigger.
slightly smaller, slightly bigger. Yeah.
Size doesn't matter. It's how you read it, guys. But yeah, I think this is a great book. Really cool. Batman, Son of the Demon. Like I said, you're going back to 1987 with this one, and I really, really like this cover a lot. Alone, like just the cover alone is just absolutely stunning. $350 in a CGC 98. It's pretty impressive. I'm not too sure exactly what the census is when it comes to this, but a super wicked book, man. Son of the Demon's always a classic. Derek saying, "Fuck, I have this too, and it's oversized." Yeah. Gabe brings up a great point, man. These are tough to get in a 9/8. It's perfect bound.
As soon as you open them, it's
like
yeah.
Like Killing Joke or Dark Knight. Once you open it to read, it's gonna crease, man. And yeah, very true. Good point on that one, Gabe. I appreciate that. Yo, Bird's in the house. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you being here, man. But Deed's saying it's a great book. Always loved it. Magazine size. Also cardstock. So yeah, like I said, it's slightly bigger, magazine size, and yeah, it's just a great book to have in your collection if you can get it in a 9/8. I think 350 ain't too shabby, man. It's not too shabby for this one. So yeah, Batman, Son of the Demon, guys. CGC 98 350. All right, so let's go really back now. We're
Wow.
going back to 1944 with this one because USA Comics issue 14 in a CGC 5.0 sold for 2,051 US dollars. Sounds like a big chunk of change, but for a 5.0, but dude, Timely Comics covers in general, man. I wish I could own just like an entire stack of like all these Timely comics from back in the day, man. Do you not see Bucky right there in between those blades? Right?
It looks like Robin. This I'm shocked by this price. This seems cheap to me.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Derek's saying the same thing in the chat, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I do think it's relatively cheap, man. I think these covers were just a good time, man. Um, I can't speak too much on reads because it's not like I've read any of these Timely comics, and it's something that I should totally do. I should go back to read the majority of these. Like USA Comics is something I just completely skipped on, but the cover alone, man, is like worth the price of admission in my opinion because I think this is just a fun cover. These are really cool covers, man, from back in the day. Like I said, Bucky's just in between those blades right there. Shit's getting serious. Captain America is fighting off some skeleton looking zombie or whatever it is.
What's behind Bucky is what I want to know.
Uh, what? Who? No idea. Absolutely no idea. But yeah, man, 2051 might sound like a lot of coin, but dude, I think this is a good buy, man.
Yeah, and it's a 5.0. Like that. It's hard to find Golden Age books in like that condition.
Yeah. Baker saying what you said, man. That Bucky looks like Robin on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain America teabagging in the golden age. That's what he was doing to poor Bucky. But yeah, I like this, man. USA Comics issue 14, CGC 5.0, $2,051. Now, we're going to go back in time. Well, we're going to need a DeLorean because Back to the Future issue number 1, this one we're going to 2015. J. Scott Campbell store exclusive. Again, one blue label, 29 signed copies on the CGC census in a 9.9, guys. That is not any other grade. I'm talking just 9.9. And to put it out there, guys, there's 2 graded in a 10 as well on the census when it comes to this one. CGC 99 just sold for 500 US dollars. Baker Shaker, I know everybody thinks J. Scott Campbell. They think those sexy, seductive covers that he always tends to do. And here we see him doing one of my childhood favorite movies with Back to the Future, man. And I think he did a great job on the cover. But the 99, knowing that there's one blue label, and it just sold, by the way, for 500 US dollars, 29 signed copies. It's very interesting that we get 39 nines on this one.
This is I like his he does the girls really well, but the his older stuff, when he was doing Thundercats and things like
Yep.
That's underappreciated J. Scott Campbell covers in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you on this one. Love for Comics saying that this is cheap for the 99.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm curious to know if those 10s ever hit the aftermarket, what they would sell for. That's what I really, really want to see take place. But nonetheless, Back to the Future number 1, the J. Scott Campbell store exclusive in a CGC 99 just sold for $500, guys. All right, Michael. Getting into your territory here with Wizard number 1. This takes us back to 1991. This is the first Wizard price guide. Now, what was interesting about this sale, I saw it as a Covrprice daily shaker. I also saw it as a Baker shaker. So shout out to Michael Baker for sharing this. But a CGC 98 just sold for 825 US dollars. But when I was checking the actual sale on eBay, one thing I noticed, guys, was that the CGC label on this 98 that sold was actually mislabeled by CGC, and it was labeled the San Diego Comic-Con edition. So that was pretty funny to see. It did not cause any premium. Absolutely no premium. When it comes to this in a 98, 825 was within the range of what it normally goes for.
Okay.
But there is a San Diego Comic-Con edition that does exist out there. And at the bottom left, basically towards the area of the bottom of Spidey's foot, you see like the San Diego Comic-Con stamp or whatever it was, a logo from back in 1991. So that's how you can differentiate the two. But the label was just incorrect on the eBay sale.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
yeah.
Have you seen? I don't know if it's like an ash can or if it was a preview book. Did you see that sale by any chance?
For Wizard.
For Wizard, it was like the preview edition. I only
No,
asked because I know it went for 2,500 on eBay.
this
Okay,
is recently.
this is recently because my co-host that I host the Wizards podcast with bought it for $2,500.
No way.
Yeah, I
He-
forget how many. There's not many in existence. There's like 15 or 50, and he bought it. Adam Pope bought it.
No way, dude. That's huge.
Huge money he spent. Like the guy went nuts. But you know, he started the podcast. I'm a co-host that joined a lot later, and he's obsessed with Wizard, and it was the one thing he's always wanted. And yeah, look, I'm sure it's up there on eBay. I think that's where he bought it from. Like he put in an offer. It was up for 3,500, and I think he offered 2,500.
So I'm actually gonna check it because I would imagine it's gonna be over on Covrprice. Because of course they're recording data from there.
Yeah.
So I do know there's a newsstand that they have on their website. There's the San Diego Comic Con one and a regular cover. So I don't see.
Okay, let me see. It's this. I'm on what's it called? Key Collector. Can you see my phone? It's this edition.
Oh yes, this is the one you're talking about.
A
Yes,
pocket
and
price guide.
if I'm not mistaken, it was 99 Newsstand who had it for sale. Yes, Jeb, I've seen this one. I had seen this one.
Yeah, so my buddy bought it for 2,500.
Good for him, man. That is a huge buy. Huge buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely huge. Now, you and I, w- we were just showing off some of your books, the wizard stuff, and you actually really admire these wizards. I know you're a big fan. Big fan.
I got stacks of them next to me right now. Like they're
Let's
always
see.
here. Yeah, I got these
Yeah.
are the issues we're covering right now in the magazine. So I just have all of them out. Yeah.
That's amazing, dude. Like, yeah, wizard magazines are just can we say underappreciated? Because I do see a lot of them in the dollar bins.
Well, it's because they were mass produced, right? I think the first issue is a bit harder to find. Like the first 10, you still can find them in dollar bins though, because people don't care that much. But to me, I'm like, this is like a history lesson. It's like 100-page history lesson of what was happening in the 90s.
Yeah, you know what? You're spot on with that, and I feel like comics are missing that right now. Like,
Yeah.
I know we get those previews or whatever, but it's not enough for me. You know what I mean? Like, I want magazines as such.
Oh, you mean like the previews, like these?
Yeah,
Right?
we get those.
we get those, but it's not the same. I know.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't have the same feel. Doesn't have the same feel.
Doesn't.
I miss when they did things like this. I love the wizard covers too, man. Like Jeb's here in the chat, man, and every time Jeb is on the show, we end up backstage talking about Wizard magazine, specifically the Bart Spears covers, dude. Like those
They're
covers,
amazing. I know.
yeah.
But then
Bart
they're all
Spears,
unique, right? Like these Jusco, like this is a Jusco that was made specifically for Wizard. Like this was never printed anywhere else. That's what's cool about them. They're all original.
Yeah, put it up again. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, that's wicked, man. But yeah, dude, like Bart Sears did so many great covers on there, especially with the Venom ones that Jeb has shown off to me. And I miss this. I miss this. I really wish they would bring it back within comics. But yeah, Wizard #1, guys, the first Wizard price guide had a CGC 9.8 sale for $825 US. Cover price daily shaker this week. Now, Spawn 189, what would a list on this show be without a Spawn book, especially with Baker Shakers? Spawn 189 takes us back to 2009, and it's a McFarlane sketch cover that is apparently limited to 100 from what I was seeing over on the internet. So I was doing some research on this. Now, there's 42 9.8s on the census, and I saw there were pretty much just a little under 100 books on the census, so I'm not sure if every issue almost got sent to CGC, but a CGC 9.8 just sold for $4,500 US. What a monstrous sale, man.
So did they just print 100, or did he sketch 100 of these?
I think it was just print.
Okay,
I
okay.
think it was just print. It was a sketch that he had done, and I think that's what they did. They just went to print. Baker, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is, like he said, nearly impossible to find. Spawn collectors have always a difficult time and have to have huge wallets if they want to collect everything Spawn related. And some of these issues, as you can see here with Spawn 189, dude, $4,500. This is monstrous. I could hear Gabe saying "Crazy Town" right now. Dude, it's a monstrous sale.
That's wild.
Craziness.
Who's paying this?
Spawn fans, dude. Spawn fans.
Hey, I'm a Spawn fan, but I won't go that far.
They blow my mind every damn week, dude. Every damn week, I am seeing such big sales take place, man. And shout out to Michael Baker for sharing this with me, because Spawn 189, guys, the McFarlane sketch cover that is apparently limited to 100, with 42 of them being 9.8s on the census, and a CGC 9.8 just sold for $4,500. Monstrous, guys. But that was the market report. I don't. Can I say I have a hangover even if I never passed out? And
Yeah. You're just going through it really quickly.
I'm feeling it. But we have one more portion to the show, and I think we're gonna have a very deep talk when it comes to some of the things happening in, probably creating comics, etc. So I gotta ask for the last time tonight, Michael. Are you ready?
This is like therapy, right? Yeah, I'm ready.
That's pure therapy. Let's go. All right, guys, the hot topics tonight. Now, of course, lots of great things take place within the week related to, the MCU, to DC stuff, comics in general. But it's not every day we get to have an actual comic creator, comics, Netflix, movies, you name it, on the show. And I think, I've seen a lot of people recently talking about they're trashing some of the things that are happening, coming out of Marvel, coming out of DC, coming out of this, coming out of that. But I really want to understand what it takes to break it into this place, what it took for somebody like Michael Schwartz to get into the places where he's been. And I want to dive into some of the deeper questions when it comes to this. So I think this is going to be a good time. But before we get into any of that heavy stuff, slightly spicy stuff, I want to show you guys some other news that broke this week, because yes, it's the summer of buckets, man. Have you seen the shit that is coming out of the theaters as of late? Like, dude, we have a giant sized head Galactus as a popcorn bucket that is apparently going to be priced at $80. And this thing is like 17.5 inches tall and 20 inches wide. How much fucking popcorn do you need, dude?
I love it. I've never wanted a popcorn bucket more than that one, but I don't know if I can swing $80 for it. That's
it's absolute madness. And then look at this. Now, this makes me happy because we're not getting this Galactus head thing here up in Canada.
We're not? Wait, is it because it's AMC only?
Yeah, dude. Like, there's one AMC here, and I don't think we're gonna be getting it. But
it'd be like $200 too, right?
Yeah, Daily Planet's coming out at Cineplex, and that's real cool, man, because on the front of it, that newspaper, you've got like Superman, and then you open it up, you can see there's like a crypto thing going on over there. I love this idea. I love the gimmicks that are coming out of the theaters as of late, dude. No matter what it is, whether it be the drink cups, whether it be anything, man, they are catering to us complete nerds, dude, and I love it. I love it.
Oh, man. The Galactus sold me more. It's funny, the Daily Planet thing, but it's $300. It's so true.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Oh,
but yeah, I'm stuck with Regal. No Galactus head for me. But Regal's got some cool things as well, man. I don't know if you guys seeing the shit that's coming out for like Fantastic Four, for Superman. Like, there's a lot of cool things. I think I even saw one Superman one. It's basically like a popcorn machine. It's like a mini popcorn machine, and like Superman is like beaming the lasers to the actual bucket that makes the popcorn inside, right? Heating it up. So it's really cool, man. The geekiness that is coming out of these movie premieres, and the chance of getting these things is pretty cool. I really think this Galactus thing is gonna go for a premium on the aftermarket, man.
Yeah, I think so. Look at us. We want it. We don't have access to it.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna like try to get a ticket to like watching this in like Plattsburgh or something. Like I need to get my ass to the States to watch this.
For $80. Yeah, you know what? We won't be able to afford a ticket to the movie. We'll be just at home, just eating popcorn.
Yeah, watching it pirated because we just spent all of our money buying this. But really cool. Like I said, there's tons of great gimmicks coming out, and I agree with Gabe here saying that these collectibles are really helping theaters stay in business. Man, they're making their money off of popcorns and everything else. So this is great. I like this. I hope it's available here. Chiapet, don't get my hopes up at all. But Hyper saying for $80 instead of popcorn, it needs to be filled with caviar. Pretty much, man. Yeah, I want to open the Daily Planet mailbox and make sure there's like a sizzling steak coming out of there. that's what we got to do. But yeah, pretty cool. The Daily Planet one is going to be available at Cineplexes, so we're going to get lucky with that one, I think. So I'm excited. I hope to score one of these. Pretty cool. But speaking of Fantastic Four, guys, I don't know if you saw this, but Fantastic Four First Steps has officially sold more tickets in its first day than any other film this year. That's great news for them. Really excited. I don't know if you saw, Michael, but apparently at launch when tickets went on sale, sites were crashing, dude.
Yeah, I saw that. That's great. That's what I want to hear because Thunderbolts it hasn't made its money back. I don't know if it will.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think it came close-ish.
Yeah.
But still nowhere close. Fantastic Four hitting these numbers and like now selling more tickets than any film this year. I really thought like a film like Lilo and Stitch would have been the one to do that.
I don't know. I hope Superman does it. I don't think Did Jurassic Park tickets go on sale yet?
Dude, I don't think anybody's looking forward to that movie. I'll be
No, I
honest.
don't think so either. I think it's kind of a dead franchise right now.
Yeah, and it didn't seem so intriguing either. Like the trailer didn't sell me on that. So
yeah. Well, I hope Superman sells out as well. Or
same.
Sells more tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see this happen again when Superman hits. And dude, we're in for a treat. I think July is gonna be a wicked month, man, an absolutely wicked month. I can't wait. I really can't wait. So I'm happy to hear this. I want to say something, guys, and I don't care if anyone takes it the wrong way, but everybody says comic books are dead, and comic hype is dead. There's MCU fatigue, and there's this, and there's that. Guys, for the last decade plus, comics and comic content as a whole has been the driving force and one of the main things keeping box offices running, man. Whether you want to admit that or not, I think that's something you need to acknowledge. And I think that the power of comics and everything, the love for comics and all of that for the last decade plus really kept a lot of doors open. Dude, I remember even during the pandemic when everything shut down. I lived in Quebec. We had some weird ass rules when it came to the pandemic. But when Spider-Man No Way Home we were allowed to watch that in theater, even though the timing of everything was a little messed up. We still had to sit kind of like one person away. You know what I mean? But the theater was still jammed. You know what I mean? Like, the love for comic book content as a whole, man, this is beautiful to see even after all this time. Highest most sold tickets, this year so far at launch. So I don't know, tell me otherwise, guys. I'm not buying into anyone's bullshit when they come on platforms saying that all of these things are happening, that MCU is dead or DC's dead or this and that. Like I'm not buying it. You look at the indie stuff, dude. Look at the content that's happening on Amazon.
Yeah.
What's driving Amazon, dude?
Nothing. It's a loss. Everything they are okay with losing money on Amazon.
Yeah, but you look at that. Look at Invincible. How well received that was.
Oh, you mean like about the comic side of things? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think more people are watching that than like Lord of the Rings, though.
The Boys. Like I can go on forever.
No, man. Comics aren't dead. There's no way.
Yeah, exactly. There was never superhero fatigue. It was lame. Yeah, I agree. I
think there's just a bit of, if you have too many misses, I think people they do need to make it special again. In my opinion, like they did oversaturate the market a bit with Disney Plus. Like I felt like I couldn't catch up to all the Disney Plus shows. There was way too much.
Yeah.
And now I feel like it's leveling out again. Like Fantastic Four seems to be like we're on from Thunderbolts to Fantastic Four, we're on an upswing.
Oh yeah. And we can't forget Superman. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Can't wait. But we're in for a good summer, guys. So that's great news. Now, big news. It seems Black Panther was in the news a lot this week, but apparently the rumors of Denzel Washington is apparently confirmed, guys. He's officially going to be in Black Panther 3. So good things coming out of this news is that we are going to get a Black Panther 3. So I'm excited about that. But Denzel, dude, I think when it comes to actors, landing Denzel in the MCU is monstrous. This is huge. It is great for Black Panther, the franchise. It's great for the MCU. And I don't think you can get a. Can we get a bigger name?
I don't. It's so weird. I feel like I was reading a few weeks ago that he was up for possibly Magneto. Like, what's happening? Is this true news? Is he actually?
Dude, I heard so many
Casting
rumors
rooms?
regarding Magneto. Like, I think
know.
I've heard everybody, including my uncle, might play Magneto, dude. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, this would be great. This would be great casting. I don't know who he's playing, but
This is something that Chiapet is saying is that there's rumors that Daniel Day-Lewis is going to play Magneto, and I think that would be
that'd be
absolutely
perfect.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's like perfect casting. If that happens, guys, I'm going to lose my shit if Daniel Day-Lewis ends up playing.
Oh God, dude.
Yeah. Massive. What a comment. You would comment tonight.
This is the best.
100%. There's the man. Yo, Lindley's in the house. What's up, brother? Appreciate you being here. But yeah, so Denzel's apparently going to be part of this. Now, up next, we were talking Frank Miller, guys. I want to talk about this because Frank Miller apparently is going to be doing one-of-one Marvel sketch cards. Now, as you can see, the cards are there to the left. Frank Miller doing this, I think it's pretty cool. This news coming straight out of Topps. There's multiple other images as well that he's done, some sketches. So I'm just sharing one page with you guys. Now, I know how we all feel, guys. I trust me. I'm there with you. I'm there with you when it comes to the work he's putting out right now being a little hard to look at, but I just think Frank Miller's up there. Frank Miller's up there in his age. I appreciate this. I appreciate this because if you can pull a one of these Frank Miller cards, man, that's amazing. That's just amazing to have within your collection. Frank Miller's a legend, nonetheless. No matter what you guys think of what he's doing right now, including myself, guys. I've been seeing his covers and I'm like, oh my god.
No, but see, here's my argument: is I don't think those covers that we've been seeing should be colored. I don't know if the colorist is the right colorist for the work.
Could be.
We just saw Daredevil. That was awesome. Didn't you agree that was the best one we've seen yet?
Amazing. Absolutely.
I don't think we've seen them correctly. They should have been black and white from the beginning. Because even these look really, some of these look really cool. Some obviously not as good as others, but
yeah,
that's my opinion though. I feel like the colorists have not helped his work.
Yeah, 100%. I do agree with you. When it comes to maybe the colors are just not doing
Makes it look
justice.
cheap. Yeah, I don't know. We should see what it would look like in black and white. We need someone to go in. There's got to be someone in the chat that's talented enough. Remove all the color for us.
Yeah, on
yeah.
Oh, didn't he have some? Oh no, the ratios were also colored, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah. But I know that he's doing these sketch cards. And the news came out from Topps, which is a big card company that I'm sure everybody's pretty familiar with. But these sketch cards, I think, are going to be coming to the 2025 Marvel Chrome. So you know those Marvel Comics Chrome cards, the sets. So these are going to be thrown into there. They're all one of ones. So each sketch is its own individual sketch. There's no duplicate of it. You've got the little Frank Miller signatures here and there, as you can see, with the FM. I think this is neat to have within your collection. Like I said, he's a legend nonetheless, whether you like or hate what he's putting out as of late. But I agree with Ozzy saying that you guys really need to take a look at some of his art from way back. You can see the roots of this. Again, I still think some of the stuff that's been printed on comics probably shouldn't have made its way to the
maybe.
right? Like I'm just being transparent. Like
Yeah,
way better work that I think could be doing more justice, I guess we could say. But nonetheless, I'm happy to see that Frank Miller's still going. Guys, let's enjoy this while we still have it. That's all I'm going to say, right?
yeah.
But anyways, now I did say where you can pick this up. I just want to remind everybody again, it's the Marvel Comics Chrome set that's going to be coming out this year. So keep an eye out for that. Now, I want to get into this, Michael, and it's going to be the segue into our big conversation. So I'm going to put this up here, guys. Mad Cave Talent Search. That's right. There's going to be a talent search over at Mad Cave. Now, I think this is a great initiative that they're doing right here, because what they're saying is they're thrilled to announce that one of our favorite traditions, our annual talent search, is back for 2025 with submissions open to creators all across the world. So, they're always blown away by the breadth of talent that's being submitted. By running this talent search, their goal is to give aspiring creators like Michael Schwartz the opportunity that many people can only dream of, having their work published. This year, Mad Cave is searching for 2 writers, 2 illustrators, and 2 colorists, and 2 letterers to work on an upcoming project. Get the details and guidelines at the link in their story, of course, over on Instagram. Best of luck to everybody. We can't wait to see your entries. So I think this is cool. I think this is amazing, right? You and I have bounced back and forth. I was bouncing an idea off you just backstage prior to the show, right? And that's me being fully transparent with you guys. This is a good opportunity for people, to do this under Mad Cave. But before we get into the big conversation, first, what do you think of this? Because I think it's cool. I think
it's amazing. I also think it's great publicity for Mad Cave, because I think a lot of readers want to be creative too. I don't know, it's just smart, because it keeps Mad Cave in the conversation. Like, how many people are gonna try? Like, I think people that don't necessarily know how to break in, this is the way they could try, and they could end up getting it. They could win. I think it's brilliant that they do it.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's genius that they're doing this, and it's a great opportunity, like you said, for just anybody to get that opportunity. But Michael, what I really wanted to talk about and make it the hottest topic of tonight's show is, I'm just going to take down the slide because that was just a segue into it. And I just want to have a open discussion regarding, creating and the process that it goes through. Because like I said, I see a lot of people talking smack about certain, not content creators, comic creators, artists, etc. But I think they don't understand some of the process and what it takes for this to come out. I always say, whether you like something or hate something, to publicly trash people's work is just, honestly, it's the stupidest thing I could ever see. Personally, you're literally taking somebody's baby right there and just like massacring it in front of them, because you put your hard work into everything that you're doing, right? Armored, No Malone, whether people like these things or not, this is your baby. This is your creation. If I don't like it, it's cool. You know what I mean? I can leave it at that. It's not for me and just move forward. But you came out with Armored. You went through No Malone, which is Netflix. We won't talk the films, but let's talk the comics, the writing, the process of how you got to this point to actually release this. I know you've briefly told me some of the struggles you went through to get to this point, putting this together. It's a lot of work.
It is. And I understand where those people come from, the bashers, like that want to because you're spending a lot on comics, right? Yeah. You're spending now, that's Canadians, where it's like what, $8 a book?
Well, you got to use the discounts at Comic Legion.
Yeah, no, I just mean in general, I'm just talking the Canadian dollar's bad. So I get where it comes from. You're buying a Marvel book and you're expecting the absolute best. And then you've just read 6 issues and you're like, damn, that was not that good. Yeah. And I think people just want to vent online about it and maybe warn other people, maybe don't buy this book, it's not that good or whatever. I get where that comes from. To me, I'm like, maybe don't do that with indie creators as much. I still think it's valuable though. Like I do like it when people tell me what they didn't like. Like a review of my book came out and the reviewer said, had trouble understanding the Ghost a few spots, and I was like, that is great feedback. I need that feedback. Sometimes we need that stuff. What's Chia saying here? That's why he clapped.
So he's saying
Yeah, it
George
is.
Lucas was once asked why he claps after every movie he
Yeah.
watches. He turned and said, "Making movies is hard, really hard. People who get it done should be appreciated."
Yeah, honestly, like, look at, if anyone has, I don't know how many people here like kickstarted Armored or were a part of that first run. Like, we did a Scott Collins cover, and if you look at that cover, it says 2022 on it, and the book came out in 2024. That shows you how hard and long this process can be for, like, especially indie creators. This is not like a Marvel and DC. They have money. They're like pumping out books, and sometimes I think that's to their detriment, because I don't know if they give the writers the time to like plan and like, it's an ongoing series. How much do they get into a writer's room? Do they talk to their editors about what's working, what's not? I don't know that process. I haven't been asked yet.
I like to think of it kind of like in WWE style, right? Like, I'm a
Yeah,
huge wrestling fan, and I know that booking goes on for, like, they have the next year already planned out. You know what I mean? And things change
yeah,
along the way, right? You see
totally.
responses, you see the crowd reaction. It's like, oh shit, okay, now we need to readapt because they're loving this guy. Sorry, we got to push this person over. So I'd like to think comics is kind of the same way, where they have the idea planned out already,
Totally.
and
I, I
you
like that idea too, but like, I know for a fact that, like, some artists, for instance, I know a guy that was an artist at Marvel, and he said that sometimes the writer would get the script to him, and he knows he needs 30 days to do the art, and he'd
yeah,
get the script with 20 days left, and he's like, "Oh, I'm fucked.
yeah,
What am I gonna do?" So
yeah.
I don't know if even they have the best. I don't know what it's like. I've never written for Marvel or DC, so I can't speak to it. I just know that if you're not happy with the storytelling, it might be that maybe it is a challenging environment. Like, when you're watching a TV show, that's a group of writers getting together to brainstorm it. Comics, it's usually one guy, and I'm always like amazed by that. I'm
Yeah.
like, don't you ever want to get people working together? Like, I know the Hive Mind, was it Jackson Lansing and I forget the other guy, Colin Kelly. At least they have two guys working together, maybe to brainstorm. I don't know. I can't speak to those books personally. But
Yeah.
for indies, it is hard, man.
I find this to be an interesting point that Lefteros is bringing up, because we kind of laugh about this. I'm going to be honest with you, relatively often, how a lot of people, especially on the YouTube side of things, or social media, tend to like rip on books that they haven't even read for some superficial reason. Seems like uneducated opinions are all over the place in comics, and that is something that I see all the time. Like, dude, if I didn't read a book, I didn't fucking read a book. I'm not gonna start trashing it and stuff like that. And that is something that I do see on the social media side of things. I do see a lot of YouTubers and guys. I know we hate the term influencers, and even Lefteros, he kind of hit me with a reality check, and he's not wrong. If I say something and I come on here live, right, and I showed you something, I said something. At the end of the day, as much as I hate to admit it, that puts me in the influencer category, right? And I don't intend on influencing anybody. I just intend on coming here to have an open conversation regarding comics, because I love comics, right? But if I influence someone's opinion, at the end of the day, then I fall into that category. So when people come on these live streams or shows or make videos shitting on stuff that they've never even opened the book for, that I find to be very questionable. Very questionable. But the YouTube thing is a whole conversation, as for another day. I guess we can save that. But when it comes to the creating side, Michael, you just kind of gave us a little bit of insight. And I know on the indie side, you and I were talking at one point, and you're like, man, I wish I could get a book under Marvel or DC, and because we were talking about you making the Lefteros picks of the week. You remember that?
A while ago, I was like, one of these days, I got to get on there.
Yeah, exactly. But we were having some discussion, and I know it's rather hard to crack it into that level. And one thing that you did with Armored was you took it to Kickstarter, right?
Yeah. Well, that was done through Clover, right? Like,
Yep.
they they kickstart every single book. So I just had to go with the flow. It was like, oh, you kickstart everything? Okay, my book will be kickstarted too. But that is an option for people, right?
Yeah. No, exactly. Now you had Covrprice take the book, like you said, over to Kickstarter, and Kickstarter did very well for you. It did
Yeah,
very well.
yeah.
And
I think it helps for a lot of people because the one at the bare minimum, it pays for printing.
yeah, exactly. At the bare minimum. Now, there's
Bare
a lot of
minimum.
money that goes into this, especially on the indie side, guys, because you're not being backed by Marvel, you're not being backed by DC on any of this. This
Yeah.
is straight, you're going the indie route, which, although might to some seem easier, it kind of sounds harder as well because the financial side of this, like you are pouring your heart, your money into this. We were just talking earlier about Mark Spears, right? And you're
Yeah.
like, man, I'm so happy for him that he finally got, the love he's getting right now, and his titles are getting the love. Like Monsters is not new, you know what I mean? Like
No, it's
he's been doing
no.
these for years.
Yeah, and it took like Keenspot to trust in him, and it's like who's Keenspot? But we all know Keenspot now.
Yeah,
But I had the same thing. I sent Armored around. It was just I was either no response or rejection,
yeah,
and so he went through the same thing. So it's heartening to see that he's huge. He's a massive talent now, and DC is finally putting him on books. Like he's doing absolute covers, but back then I'm sure he was frustrated, right? Like, why is no one paying attention to me? And his art was awesome back then, so nothing changed.
no, exactly. And
I don't I have the answer as to how you break in because I still don't know. I'm sure even Mark is like, how did this happen?
yeah, I was watching. I don't remember which channel it was. Maybe it was Laura's on Nearing Nirvana, and there was Red Hood there, and he had spent time with him at a con, and it was at that con where he said that Mark Spears like really embraced the fact that, wow, okay, like I made it type thing. You know what I mean? Like people are here for me type thing, and it's touching to hear that. You know what I mean? To see that a creator has reached that point and gone through the ringer, kind of like you have, and are still kind of going through here
Yeah,
and there.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I say that respectfully because I think people don't understand the grind that it takes, especially when it's something that you're creating that's your own baby, right? Dude, I was a musician. I played music. Steve is here in the chat. That's my ex-guitarist. We played many shows together. We never released a single album, and we got booked. We got booked locally. Like people knew we were bringing the party. They knew we were bringing the vibe. We were going to give it 45 minutes of 110% altogether. And when people are coming to you after you finish your set, and they're like, "Man, dude, that was amazing. Who are you guys? We want to follow you guys. We want to know more about you." It's rewarding.
It
It's
is.
rewarding
Yeah,
because they don't know the amount of rehearsals we're doing. They don't know how many times we're at the studio screaming at each other, fighting with each other. Or no, don't play this play it like that. There's a lot that goes into it, and I think that translates to comics and creating as well. You know what I mean? There's a lot
oh
of
yeah.
work that goes into this.
Well, and I don't know if people like the other thing. There's two things people don't realize. One is when you're reading an indie book, most of the time it's the writer putting up money. Unless you're like best friends with the artist, the writer is funding this thing. And then there's the odd. It's very rare for a publisher to like pay in advance, and if they do, you're just giving that straight to the artist. So I know people have Dark Horse books and they get a small advance, very small, and it just goes straight to the artist. You're making nothing as a writer slash
Yeah.
creator. So
No, exactly.
the other thing is people don't realize, and I see this a lot online. I don't know if maybe it's common knowledge. I didn't know this. Single issues, they don't make money. Monthlies don't make money. Periodicals, they just don't make money. There's no money in it. It's promotion. That's all we're doing single issues for. Like doing Armored like this was passion. This was me begging and pleading with Clover, please do single issues. I'm a Wednesday warrior. I want single issues. And if you go to their website, they primarily do hardcover graphic novels. And so I'm so thankful that they ended up doing with Armored. I just like that format of storytelling.
Yeah.
But when I see people like saying like, oh, these guys are making tons of money at DC, even DC, not every title's making money.
Yeah.
Like, it's possible the Flash is making nothing. It's just promotion until the graphic novel. That's where the creators or the companies make money.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So I want to share something that I intended on making a slide for, but I didn't, and because it's not news within the week. It's just from a few weeks back, and we'll say about a month ago. But something I found very interesting was, Scott Snyder came out talking about the rebuilding of Batman and why comics matter more now than ever. And I thought this was a great article that people may have missed out on, but he was talking about, we're looking at the Absolute Universe and specifically Absolute Batman, of course. But he kind of touched on some very interesting points here. Like here, let me just put it up. Hold on. The monthly comics. So monthly comics matter. He said that Absolute Batman, not just as an important, relevant story, but as a statement about comics themselves. And he says that it's reaffirmed everything I love about the mediums. And then Snyder said, the joy of making people wait each month, of giving them something to talk about, something that hits hard and sticks. He believes that Absolute Batman, the Ultimate Universe, he says there's a reckoning happening in comics, and if we don't focus on what makes monthly comics special, we won't survive in a tough economy. So we're all taking our biggest swings. And that's true, because now I'm looking at what's happening within comics, right? You're seeing a lot of big hitters, right? Look what just happened with the Black Panther. Now the controversy and everything. It's pushed its way into mainstream media, getting a lot of eyes on, Marvel because of what just took place, right?
Mhm.
And like I said, it goes beyond. It could be Entertainment Tonight. It could be all of these bigger platforms that are now focusing on things like this. And I am seeing it within comics, because every week I know people say, like, I saw somebody in the chat, I think it was Deed, saying like there's too many comics. But right now, as a reader, I kind of feel like we're getting some of the best shit we've ever gotten in quite some time. I said last week that Marvel hit us with three bangers. We had the Incursion issue, we had Imperial, we had that Black Panther, and that's just Marvel. I'm not even talking about anything else that came out yet. So I like that he said this, because it's not entirely wrong. Like, over the last few years, there's been this re-embracing of monthly comic book fundamentals. He's saying you see more series going for daring big moments that are going to get people talking, cliffhangers, reminders of what the characters are struggling with. There's a joy to making them wait every month. So again, you can see what's happening here right now when it comes to current comics that we're reading, and it's acknowledged amongst all of them. You know what I mean? They're all swinging for the fences at 100% with this one. With monthly comics, you're asking readers to buy in again every issue, right? There's a joy to that, the joy to telling your friends, did you see what happened in the Ultimate Spider-Man? And even he himself brought that up, right?
Yep.
So
I that's like what happened with the streamers. Do you remember because Netflix used to dump an entire series? It'd be like, okay, actually they still do it. They'll drop an entire season of a show in one weekend, and the people that watch it talk about it, but then you're missing out on the discussion from everyone else. And I think what Snyder's saying is, like, we can all talk about issue 8 together over the course of a month, and then talk about 9. And I do think if we don't keep up with these monthlies, we will miss that. This is an interesting point, Derek.
Yeah. The flip side of that are creators who use Kickstarter, because they make way more money than through distribution into LCSs. That tends to turn some people off as a bit of a cash grab. Now, the cash grab thing is real, whether we want to admit it or not. You do see that, right?
But there's cash grab at the stores too. Like,
exactly.
Battle Beast is a cash grab. We all fell for it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. And it's funny, because people will talk about how some of these things that Marvel are doing or DC is doing being a cash grab, but in reality, we know that they're swinging for home runs. They're really coming
They're
out
trying to make money. They're trying to figure it out, because I think the whole industry, I'm hearing about, I've heard a friend of a friend, their book was just fully canceled from one of the publishers recently, just before it was supposed to be announced. Like, it's a great time to be reading, but to be a creator, I think it's oversaturated market right now. And it's a lot of good stuff. So you're competing with a lot of other books.
dude. We were just talking prior to going live on the show, and I was telling you like an idea I have for a comic, right? I
Yeah,
already know that if ever I were to publish such a thing with the idea I have, that is not even gonna go anywhere other than probably like just a Kickstarter indie title that is gonna be a fun read and call it a day. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I've already embraced that, but I know kind of what you were saying, the oversaturation, the over amount of now creators and everything. It's good on one side, it's bad on the other. You know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah.
enjoying what we're getting content wise, and I find myself, since the pandemic, because the pandemic, I feel like I spoke about the pandemic too much tonight already, but um, one thing that happened was comics came to a pause, it came to a stop. New comics weren't coming out, so I found myself going back to a lot of indie titles, and that's what really made me fall in love with a lot of the indie titles that I completely missed out on. Right, Something is Killing the Children. I discovered that during the pandemic. Now, fast forward, here we are. We're looking at Kickstarters, and I'm seeing a lot of these. Man, Covrprice themselves have a crowdfunding report that comes out every month where they highlight some of these titles and things that are being pushed via Kickstarter, that people can back. And I think that's great that they do that. So it keeps people aware. But, the Kickstarter thing, I want to say it's a love hate. You know what I mean?
It is.
There is definitely some of that cash thing, right?
Well, I don't know if it's cash because people want to fund their books. Like they genuinely believe in their books. The only thing that you're missing with Kickstarter is you don't have anyone vetting these projects. There's
Yeah.
no one saying, "Hey, this is good enough to go to market," right? Like anyone could put that's really true. Someone needs to tell me how to get the algorithm on my side because I don't got it. I'll tell you that much. It really there's no like at DC, Marvel, the Image, all of these places, they have people vetting the stories beforehand, saying yes or no. So you're really having to trust that creator. Like, do I want to help this creator give this creator money and hope his book gets made? None of us read these books beforehand. No one read Armored beforehand. It was
Yeah.
like over 200 people had to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And thankfully they did. And then on top of that, I hope they're thankful they took a shot and that they weren't disappointed by it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many creators come away from it and say that. Like I would really want to know what people think about my book. Like, should I continue doing this? Is the thing I would ask myself. But people have told me they liked it, so I'll keep doing it.
Yeah, no, dude. Like I
Yeah,
said, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass because you're on the show. I really enjoyed Armored. I thought it was a very fun story. You know what I mean? And
thank
I
you.
even I remember when we did the interview a little over a year ago.
Oh my god, yeah, yeah.
We were talking about like the ties of you did something unintentionally where there's literally a panel that reflected exactly your Netflix movie was the scene in the car, right? And I was
Exactly.
like, dude, I know this
I
scene
didn't even
because I've
realize
seen
it.
it 1,000 times. But yeah, man, like you know, I think people, like I said, some may understand the process, some don't fully do. I know you went through the ringer, even when it came to getting the covers. You have so many covers available, by the way, like great covers. Like I feel like you had a field day.
Well, do you know what I was thinking? What if I never make a comic again? I might as well go on out, all out, right?
You're
Like
gonna be
you could
pissed.
have hated it. You could have hated it. What if you hated it? Then I would not. I would be like, I'm done. I had my fun. But
Yeah,
these guys are bringing up a good point too.
yeah. Here, take this
First,
one.
yeah. First of all, let me tell you this. No, the first thing I was told when I was getting into it is you don't make money in comics. Like
Yeah.
it is not. Do not go into it wanting to make money. You can, and some people do, and I do think that's when people turn on those creators is when they are becoming successful.
Again, I'm gonna tie this to music, Michael. Same thing.
Yeah, it's true. You can.
That underground band is kick ass until they hit the radio and make it mainstream, right?
Yeah,
And I think that's just all across the board. It does tend to happen, unfortunately, but I do agree with example Lefteros and Chia saying I feel like generally when people make money in comics, people start hating them even when completely unwarranted. You know, we'll revert back to Mark Spears because he's a prime example of current times. What's happened, right? Like he went from one level to a complete other. And I don't want to say it happened overnight because it didn't.
no,
This was a long haul for him, and finally takes off, explodes, and now you're hearing people like, "Oh, I'm tired of Mark Spears," or "Oh, fuck Mark Spears," or
Of course.
like it's crazy because the love was all there. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think every cover of Mark Spears is an absolute banger. I don't have to say, oh my god, I love Mark Spears because he's the hot shit right now. No, if it's good, it's good. If I don't like it, I don't need to trash it. You know what I mean? Like I have no intent on burying somebody because of whatever. But the work that goes into this, I'm happy you shed some light. I was just talking about some of the covers that you had for your book, and lining up these artists, lining up these covers, dude, that alone is a struggle, right? You
Yeah,
just finished telling me at the beginning you had Zulo, you had Jay Lee, you had many more.
David Mack. Yeah, Becky Cloonan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy too. Like for all of these covers, you guys don't know about all the ones where the artist wasn't available or they wouldn't even respond to me. Like there's a lot that goes into this. It is difficult. It is yeah, it's lonely at points.
Yeah,
It's good having a publisher, I have to say, because then you can at least like be like, oh man, we didn't get any backers today. That's you get like kind of disappointed, and yeah, it's tough.
yeah, I like that Jeb brings up Donny Cates as
It's, yeah.
as an example, because Cates got a lot of love, especially with the Cosmic Ghost Rider stuff. Like, dude, it exploded. Then we end up getting the Venom stuff, and everybody was Donny Cates crazy. And I remember even during the pandemic, again, I'll bring it up. Null books were exploding. People were going crazy for that shit. And then all of a sudden, it's like, fuck Donny Cates. You know what I mean? He started doing his other shit. With crossover, he started doing other titles, and everybody was just like, Donny Cates fatigue kicked in, right?
Yeah, it's that balance, I guess, right? How do you balance it? Because there's some other writers, no one seems to hate on them, and they're doing every book under the sun.
Oh,
Like,
dude, I can go on forever. Jason Aaron's doing fantastic. I can talk about Jonathan Hickman forever. I love Jonathan
yeah.
Hickman. It's probably one of my favorites right now, man.
But people hate him too. Like people hate on Hickman a lot. I've heard that many times. So
Yeah, dude. Dan Slott had the ultimate fallout, literally, when the ASM stuff took place. I've
that's true.
spoken about this in the past, but when he swapped with Doc Ock, that sent people spiraling. But you remember that, right?
I do, yeah. And now I'm like, I got to go grab those books again.
Yeah, of course, dude. Those are great books to have. But yeah, there another writer that's
Yeah. See, there are points though where you do feel like it becomes oversaturated. But I do wonder if quality drops. You're one person writing. It's like TV shows have multiple writers. To me, I'm like, I would cap myself at 4 books max. Like I don't know. To me, when you're going beyond that, it's like there has to be a quality drop. There has to be. How can you keep that up? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, so, I mean, some of them tend to do fantastic. I mean, like we're
Yeah.
taking Tanyan as an example. I think he's doing great. Like Exquisite Corpses is wonderful, dude.
That was such a good first issue. It
Yeah.
hooked. It has such a good hook. Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. Is okay, maybe Nice House on the Lake for me fell off. Like I didn't care much about it after.
Yeah, I fell off too. That was one where I fell off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I do see that. You know what I mean? I could see the quality drop, but when you look at creating as a whole, there is a lot that goes into this, and I think some people don't factor it, and they'll be quick to criticize. And hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Ain't nobody gonna judge you for having an opinion. If you hate something, dude, by all means hate it. Doesn't mean because I like it, you have to like it. It doesn't work that way. If you hate it, I don't have to hate it. But I think this hate farming mentality that's gone on lately on social media is a bit strange.
Just if anything, just say what you didn't like. Maybe there's something that's useful.
Yeah,
Like, for me, I think that would be helpful as a writer.
Yeah,
like, they didn't like this aspect. Oh, you didn't like the art. Okay, cool. Maybe they'll like my next book. The artist is different. So
exactly. Like, and I'm happy you're saying this on a creator perspective, because I mean, some of these guys get crucified publicly. You know what I mean? Like they get annihilated, and I think what you're saying is spot on. Maybe the constructive criticism more would be ideal. Like, hey, dude, I think the art sucked, or I think like what you're writing is complete trash. Like I don't
Yeah,
know. Like,
I
just
don't
be
like the
on it.
story. I can't connect to the main character. The villain has no, has no arc. I don't get why the villain is a villain. You know, things like that. If you can tangibly come up with what you don't like, that's constructive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And Trek saying that he hates anything that I like out of principle, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think that's really what I'm boiling it down to. What Lefteros was saying is like, you know, speak critically and include specifics when you're talking about that. And I do think it's valid. Unfortunately, like I said, and Lefteros was saying, I do see people dragging names through the mud. They've never even opened the book.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, let's take Mutina as an example. Marvel came up with this idea of Mutina. Gail Simone is super pumped about this, given 100%, saying this is the best thing she's ever put together, and it's already being dragged through the mud before it's even hit release. So that's very, very strange. A very strange approach. But guys, that was the show. Michael, I'm happy you shared some perspectives, man. I'm happy you hopped on tonight.
I hope I was okay, guys. I hope I did. You know, I'm a fan of the show, so this is a pleasure to be able to come on.
More than fine, man. You did amazing, and I had a great time with you because last time I got to connect with you, we only got to do an interview. We didn't get to do an actual comic show and show the geek side of you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
No, it was awesome.
I had a blast, guys. One thing I want to do before we go, I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow there's the new comic book day sale over at Comic Legion. So do go and subscribe over on YouTube. You can pick up the new books dropping this week. Next week, Hyper Combo Comics is going to be on. So don't miss that because that's going to be nothing but good times. I miss Hyper. So it's going to be very fun to connect with him again. And one thing I want to show one more time. Well, actually, I didn't even show it at the beginning of the show. So it's got to be shown now. But the Armored Kickstarter by Michael Schwartz, guys. I want to show you guys this because it's pretty cool. You said that you're dropping the hardcover right now.
That's what the Kickstarter's for. Yeah. So this collects issues 1 to 5, and then the 10-page bonus story from the half issue that you got. We only printed 500 of those.
Yeah, I know. I got my Koa.
You got 2 of 500.
I got my Koa sitting right there, but yeah, dude, the little spoiler is actually.
Oh, we don't need to watch this.
But the volume.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is where it's like super important. Honestly, the stage we're at right here is we need it to sell well in comic shops, but right now, the only way to get the David Mack dust jacket is through this Kickstarter. And yeah, if you can, you support. You know, if you can't, wait till you see it at comic shops or wait till you can.
Yeah, look at that, man. Best surprise comic of 2024. Couldn't agree more. Best indie comic of 2024. Couldn't agree more. Well, it was definitely very surprising for me, man. It was one that I really enjoyed. I think the hardcover looks amazing, dude. 192 pages, and it collects issues.
That's a Francesco Tomaselli cover right there. Yeah, he's been doing DC covers. I don't know if you've noticed them at all. Follow him on Instagram. The guy is coming up for sure.
Yeah, and here's the David Mack thing you were talking about, the dust jacket.
Yeah, the other side is Jay Lee's cover artwork. So
yeah, these are super awesome, man. I have this Jay Lee cover, and it's absolutely stunning. I had said that I met David Mack at Terrificon last year, and if I meet him again, I definitely got to get this signed, dude, by him because it's such a wicked cover, man. I fell in love with the characters in this book, and dude, as cliche as it might sound, man, fell in love with you too as a comic nerd because we got to talk so much awesome stuff tonight, and I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, one question I have to answer. The Kickstarter helps me more than an LCS, I will have to say, at this stage. But if you miss out on the Kickstarter, everything helps. Even just a like, even if you just like it, even if you just share it, tell someone about it, that helps.
Yeah.
Do what you can. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. So definitely show the love. There's the link. You see it. Lefteros dropped it here. But Michael, again, thank you so much for tonight. Chat, thank you so much for tonight. You can come check us out over on Covrprice Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time with the top 10. Thursday again at 9 p.m. for the Comic Shakers. And next week, Hyper will be joining us to talk all the stuff that takes place within the next couple of days. So definitely don't miss that. Michael, I'll catch you backstage. We have a lot more to talk about, but we will let these people go because they've been here for 2 hours and 8 minutes. So much love, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great night. Great rest of the week. I'll see you next week. Ciao.